Welcome back to the Renegade Report. We're happy to have women's soccer coach Scott Dameron on board. Also, wrestler Cesar Luna, who's been off to a great start. He was 3-0 at the BC Duels just this past weekend. I want to talk some volleyball before we move on to football. The Lady Renegades were in action against 8th-ranked Santa Barbara City College last night. Let's go to those highlights and show you some of the action from BC. As starting things off, Courtney Grants, who's had a great year, coming up with a kill right here for BC. Very competitive. The numbers, they did end up losing this in 4, but the numbers are a little deceiving. That is Tyler Herring with a kill right there. And Stephanie Lugo is going to get into the action as well for Bakersfield College. However, Santa Barbara City College coming back, and again, they are ranked in the state. And Carl Ferrer is taking on all comers so far. So they lose in 4. Take a look at the score first, and then we'll hear from Carl. I think we have a scoreboard coming up for you, or maybe we'll hear from Carl first. But again, they lose 3-1. But again, very competitive in that they lost 15-25. Then they won this game 2, 25-16. Then they lost the third and fourth games, both by a final of 22-25. Here's Carl Ferreira after the match.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with where we are, to be completely honest with you. We've had a very, very tough preseason, a lot of highly ranked competitive teams, but that's kind of what we wanted. It really gives you an idea of what you got to work on, where you're at, and we just talked about getting better.
All right, getting better. We'll see if the Lady Renegades can do that. But again, a tough schedule early on helps you as you get into conference play. And, of course, they're facing some great teams in conference as well. We're now happy to be joined by BC football coach Jeff Chudy as the Renegades opened conference play last week against Allen Hancock, coming up short in that one by a final of 20-17. So we'll talk to Coach and break this down first half, second half. And, Coach, how you doing, first of all?
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
Got another game.
Yeah, another game, right, with Canyons, a team like yourself that's certainly looking for a win after a 1-3 start. But let's talk about this game right here. And let's go to some of the highlights, first of all, and take you out to Allen Hancock, where, first of all, windy, right? I mean, a windy day, 30-mile-an-hour winds. As they go out there, and the Gades actually getting a big break here early on and being alert, too. Sometimes guys just sort of stop and freeze, but the Renegades were all over this one. That ball is loose. Khalil Ely, Independence High, falling on it. You got great field position, Coach. That is the good news. The bad news is the ball didn't move very far, and you get the field goal here from Parker Campbell. So what coulda, shoulda, maybe been 6 or 7, turns out to be 3, but you get off to a 3-0 start. Your thoughts early on there?
Oh, it was momentum changer, a missed opportunity in terms of field position. You get the ball on the 11. Nieto did a really nice job of actually taking out their tailback who they were running a swing screen to, and it would have been, in retrospect, nice if we would have scooped it and scored with it, but we didn't do that, and we didn't take advantage of the field position, and you get the ball with momentum right there presented to you. It's a nice gift, but we didn't take advantage, kicked a field goal, and went up 3-0.
Those are sort of what I like to call, whether you look at it from an offensive or defensive standpoint, 4-point plays. Difference between
no question.
Field goals and touchdowns and extra points.
They say, you get the ball that deep in somebody's territory, I think it's 1 out of 2 in terms of scoring 7, but you need to score 7 points on that. It's 4-down territory. Had we been in a convertible 4th down, I'm sure we would have gone for it, but just the momentum and the starting off with the early lead and kind of making them pay for their mistake, but we didn't do that. We got 3 out of the deal.
Well, I visited your office last week, and I told you I'm never going to play poker with you because it ended up your quarterback. You started Brandon Steele, and then Vaughn Richardson came in, so the 2 freshmen. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Let's take a look at Brandon right here as we see some of the action early on. And again, windy day. You're telling me when you're thrown into the wind, it was tough. The ball fluttered and topped out a little bit, but this was the wind behind him. Connection to Marquise Johnson, another one coming up right here. This one eventually, after that catch, would lead to a touchdown by Triton Douglas, and you had a 10-0 lead. So I'm sure right now, both offensively and defensively, you're feeling pretty good, and Brandon got you guys into the end zone. And again, the wind. Talk a little bit about the wind and just about Brandon's performance early on.
Well, the wind was obviously a definite factor in the sense that all points were scored going with the wind, and I think we did not do a very good job of taking advantage of field position. In terms of the punting, if we go back and forth on the punt perspective, we ended up with about a 12, 13 more yard per punt average than they did. They had a difficult time punting into the wind. We did too, but it wasn't quite as drastic as theirs. And we just had too many opportunities in the red, or when we crossed the 50, 40, and didn't take advantage of the field position. We had the field position pretty much the whole first quarter,
right,
and a lot of the fourth quarter, and just to score 17 points and we come up short by 3, it's not good enough. We played 2 quarterbacks. They played with 1. All 3 had to throw into the wind. The ball that was going to get affected the most was the vertical throw, and
right.
So in terms of the intermediate throws, if you had a tight spiral, it wasn't going to be affected that much.
Mm-hmm.
Location part was going to be affected, but if you had any kind of movement on your ball, throwing it into the wind on an intermediate route, it looked like a screwball going down into the dirt.
Yeah,
looked like some of those guys pitching the other day in the wild card game.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of missed opportunities, which I'm guessing you're going to show some more film of that.
Yeah, well, maybe so. That's the way it works. Film doesn't lie, as they say.
No, it
Let me
doesn't.
ask you this, and I'm asking this because I don't know, not because I'm trying to
Right.
point out something that isn't working. But do you guys have an interception yet this year defensively?
No, we don't.
You don't?
No.
Okay, so that leads me into this first piece of video because you've had a lot of close calls.
Yeah.
Here's one of them right here. And this one, you're up 10-0. Look at this play right here where, this could be 17-0 right here. And a great effort by Bryson Briggs right here.
He puts himself in the right position.
Yeah,
to make
and
the
I mean,
play.
that's like, you're just going, man, oh man, coulda, shoulda, woulda. And then to make matters worse, because this seems to be, I don't want to call it luck, but the way things have been going for you guys, they complete that pass. Then they have a 3rd down here, and this looks like a sack. Even the crowd is cheering at this point, and then they're not cheering anymore because they see the guy's still loose, and he runs and picks up some yardage right here. And then eventually, what resulted in a near interception, a near sack, ends up with a touchdown, and now we're talking 10-7.
Well, on that drive, there was actually after the near interception, there was a 3rd and long that they converted, and we took a really bad drop on that. They should have had a hard time throwing the route that they did, and we wall dropped. We took a vertical drop instead of getting wide, and then the sack. It was 3rd and 10 or 11 on that one, and it looked like we had him down for about a 10-yard sack, and it was.
That's a 4-point play right there. You get that sack,
well,
they're kicking a field goal.
I don't even know if they would have kicked a field goal because it was 4th and 20 and would have been about the 35, I think, where we missed the sack. And
well, wind behind them, they may have gone for it.
whatever.
Yeah.
But no, those are missed opportunities. You missed opportunities to get off the field, missed opportunities to score on defense. We have had a hard time creating turnovers, and we dropped another one in the second half for a touchdown. The same that threw a slant, and we put ourselves in the right position to make a play, and we didn't make the play. So we had quite a few missed opportunities against Hancock. I think if any one person would have made a play, that the score would have been a little bit different, but we've got to coach better and we've got to play better at the end of the day.
Well, we just got one other clip, and that would be them kicking with the wind, and this is to end the half, and that's what's that math right there? That's the 50-yarder, 49. So he puts that one through. So you're tied 10-10 at the half. So there we are at halftime. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, talk second half, talk about Vaughn Richardson got into the game, his first action, talk about that a little bit. So, again, we'll have second half action, talk to head coach Jeff Judy. We'll be back in a moment.